One morning, I came back from a run before the sun was up. My daughter was just waking up, and she saw me walking sweaty, tired, but smiling. She has no idea what a temple run is. She doesn't understand training plans, but she sees something more important, that her dad shows up and does hard things. As parents, especially dads, we don't need to give speeches about discipline because our kids watch everything we do. Today, I want to talk about how leading by example, especially through fitness, teaches lessons without having to say a word. Welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about leading by example without saying a word. Now, before we get into today's episode, I like to go over anything in my life when it comes to fitness, when it comes to nutrition, really anything that I think that you may find helpful. This week is just getting back into it for me. Last week, or the week prior, on Friday, I had a procedure done. I knew I was going to be out for a handful of days. Probably, say, got it done on Friday, probably be out till Tuesday or Wednesday. Following week, okay, I have to take 2 extra days off just to recover from the procedure. No problem at all. And ended up getting sick last week, derailing how quickly I was able to recover from the procedure. So I ended up not doing too much lifting last week. Did the stationary bike, I believe, 3 times. Did not do any running, which really sucked. That was not an enjoyable aspect of being sick and having this procedure, but was able to get through it. I hadn't ran, I think about 9 or 10 days since I was able to get a run in, but ran yesterday, just did a 3-mile run, just wanted to see how that felt, just getting back into it after about having 10 days off. Couldn't ask for better weather, 50 degrees, sun shining, a little bit of a breeze. Felt great to get back into it. So really looking forward to using this week to just get back into the routine, get back at the gym, get back into lifting weights, get back into running, and just attacking it again. Not fun not being able to get out there and get after it last week, but unfortunately this procedure and being sick wasn't too fun. But now I'm going to come back. I feel fresh, I feel recharged, I feel energized. So this should be a good week going forward. I already had my Monday lift, Monday run. Both felt great. Didn't notice anything off the run, didn't notice anything off the lift. Honestly, I felt stronger doing the lift, especially doing bent over barbell rows. Doing those, I felt phenomenal with it. So looking forward to seeing what I can accomplish this week at the gym and lifting, especially where I am in New York. The first few days this week is going to be almost 70 degrees, between 60 and 70 for the first 3 days this week with the sun shining. Can't complain. Want to be able to take advantage of it, especially after the long and cold winter that we've had. But again, diving into today's episode, which I'm going to be discussing, is leading by example without saying a word. Now, my daughter, she learns by watching, not by listening. If you're a parent of a child, you understand that I could tell my daughter not to do something and she's going to do it. Yesterday, we were at the grocery store and she really likes to ride in the car, in the carts that they almost look like a race car, a little car. But unfortunately, there was none around. I looked at all even outside, I couldn't find one. So we had to put her in the regular cart. She was adamant about not sitting in the car. She wants to walk around. Okay, we can walk around. Not a big deal. Might slow us down a little bit, but that's what she wants to do. So we're gonna roll with it. And then she starts licking the glass and the freezer section, and then the refrigerator section with like the yogurts, and then the frozen section. And I could tell her how many times don't lick the glass. It's disgusting, and there's probably so many germs, and they've probably never been cleaned, and there's so many people touching it. She doesn't care. she won't listen. She's a little younger than 3, so I know that even if I tell her to not do something, she's gonna do it. It's just It's out of my control at this point. I don't want to be yelling at her and being mean or anything like that because I'm the one setting the example on how I respond on my end. But my daughter's going to learn by watching, not by listening, because my behavior is louder than any advice that I can give. My daughter is going to absorb the habits from myself and from my wife. And what are we teaching her? What are we showing her? You can think when it comes to fitness, she's seeing me on runs, she sees me coming back from the gym. I was able to lift a little bit last week, especially on Friday, and I had two 30-pound dumbbells. That's what I have at the house. And I was doing Romanian deadlifts, I was doing lunges, I was doing calf raises, I was doing squats with them. Again, not a ton of weight, but you have to make do. It's funny actually. My legs are hurting a little bit, a little sore after, which I'm glad because usually when I take a week off leg day and I come back the following week, like it is just brutal. The soreness that I get. But she was able to see that when it comes to eating, how am I eating? What does that look like? Am I eating good quality foods? For me, I eat a ton of chicken, I eat a ton of rice, I eat a ton of broccoli. So she's just seeing that time and time again. And my goal is to have her absorb those habits without me necessarily needing to tell her. Because this consistency that I'm showing her is more powerful than any motivation. Because the routines that I'm sharing with her, I want them to become normal to her. I wanted her to know that going to the gym, that working out, that eating healthy, that making good decisions if you do have to eat out at a restaurant, that it's just something that is normal. Because if my daughter sees me sitting on the couch every night, that's going to become normal. But if she sees me going to the gym, going for a run, and choosing to be disciplined, then that becomes normal too. And what do you want to share with your son or your daughter? I want to set that example for my daughter because I never want to be the type of person where I say, you should be eating more vegetables. When she comes to me, says, why do I have to eat more vegetables if you're not eating any vegetables? Why do I have to go to the gym and work out and be in shape if you're not going out to the gym? If you're overweight and you're out of shape? Because as a father, I'm building her definition of what adulthood looks like as she grows up through the years. Similar to how my parents were, when I was growing up, I would see them eat healthy, I would see them go to the gym, and it was just something that we just did. It was something that was normal, and that is what I want to emulate for my daughter as she continues to grow up. Fitness is one of the best ways to lead. It shows commitment, it shows resilience, it shows self respect for yourself, and it shows long term thinking. Choosing to be fit is one of the best decisions that you can make. It makes you feel good about yourself, it makes you look good, it shows that you have self respect, it shows that you do something hard every single day. Because as you grow older, you start to notice that people around you, a lot of them, they aren't fit, they aren't in shape, they are overweight. So when you do see someone that is fit, that is in shape, you know that person was dedicated. That person got up, they went to the gym, they went on that run, they ate healthy, they had self respect for themselves, and they continued to show that consistency in their lives. I go on early morning runs before my daughter wakes up. It could be training for my marathon. It's showing up even when I'm tired. Not every day do I feel like going for a run. Not every day do I feel like going to the gym and getting a lift in, but I do it anyways. And my daughter, she may not understand the miles that I'm putting in, the reps that I'm doing, or even the pace that I'm running, but she's going to understand the effort that I'm putting in. I want my daughter to see discipline over motivation, and it's just such an important lesson for her to see because motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what keeps things moving. running when it's not ideal conditions. I I think I don't think there's any time this year where I've not been able to run outside. I run when it's been over 100 degrees. I run when it's been negative 18 degrees. Running when it's been freezing rain, pouring rain, hailing. I think in December I ran and it was raining and 40, 50, 60 mile-an-hour winds, running with snow on the ground, running where maybe I shouldn't have been running, but I do it. But I do it anyway. It's lifting early in the morning when I just want to keep sleeping in. It's not easy to do a full workout in the morning and then work a full day on top of that, but I do it anyways. It's choosing to train, it's choosing to be present with my daughter instead of just vegging out and scrolling on my phone, because I want my daughter to know that doing hard things is consistently normal. Because there's so many people that want to take it easy. They want to stay comfortable. They're not going to do hard things. They're not going to do a marathon. They're not going to do a triathlon. They're not even going to go to the gym. Nothing at all. Because they want to stay within this boundary and they want to stay comfortable. And that's whatever. That's your deal. That's not what I want to do. I want to push myself. I want to do hard things. And I want her to see me doing these hard things. I want to talk about the long-term impact on how these small moments compound over time. Similar to what I talked to before, I want my daughter to see that exercise is normal. I want her to understand the commitment that it takes when it takes to train for a triathlon, when it takes to train for a marathon. And I want her to respect that effort, that it's not easy. Anyone that runs a marathon, it is a ton of work. It takes a ton of self-discipline. Like when you're training for a marathon, it's as if you have another full-time job. When I'm going off and doing a 20-mile run, it takes me 2.5 hours to do that. That's a long time, and it's not just the 2.5 hours. It's 2.5 hours, and I come home and I'm not ready to hop right back into life. I'm a little bit out of it. I'm exhausted, but I can continue to do that week after week, whether it's a 16-mile run, whether it's an 18-mile run, whether it's 20 tempo run, whatever that may be. I just wanted her to understand the commitment and effort and to see that as something that is normal. Because years from now, my daughter won't remember any specific workout that I did, but she'll remember that her dad always trained, always moved, and always showed up. Now, leading by example can apply to more than just fitness. It applies to your work ethic, applies to your marriage, your health, integrity, how you treat people. How do you show up when it comes to your job? When it comes to running your business? When it comes to your marriage? When it comes to your health? Key component of that, eating healthy, eating good quality foods. The integrity. Do you lie? Do you cheat? Do you steal? Or are you honest when you make a mistake? Are you honest with your clients? With your team members? How do you treat people? How do you treat a waiter, a waitress? They make a mistake, they bring you the wrong meal. Say, I don't want something on my sandwich, and they bring it to you. All wrong. They get you the long drink. How do you treat people to them? Do you look down upon them? How do you treat those individuals? Because my daughter is watching. She's seeing how I treat everyone when I'm out. My daughter is going to learn how to handle stress as she gets older by watching how I handle it. And fitness is just one of the clearest examples because that effort is visible to her. I can tell her, do hard things, eat healthy. If I'm not doing it, why is she going to do it? I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't make sense. So I'm the one that has to set this example for her. Now, you don't have to give your son, your daughter, long talks about discipline, work ethic, or resilience because they are watching how you live, the early morning workouts, the long runs, the consistency, because you are teaching them what it means to show up without saying a word. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode on leading by example without saying a word. I hope you tune into next week's episode where I discuss what it really means to show up as a dad.